So I will link my two videos, um, Gnosticism versus Catholicism versus Marcionism, and the truth about Gnosticism. But again, having researched and read the early Christian documents, early church fathers, early Gnostic writings, for the last 15 years, non-Christian writings, all the stuff from the Hasmonean period to the Middle Byzantine period, and then coming across, again, people who call themselves Gnostics. This is why I miss James at Pandere's box and Life, Liberty, Love. Craxd1. You do know Jehovah is a corrupted word from German translation of YHVH, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which has never been correct. No. The Tetragrammaton YHVH, it's Jehovah comes from the Masoretic text of taking the Tetragrammaton YHWH or YHVH and inserting the vowels of Adonai, which is Lord. The reason why English translations translate what the Tetragrammaton YHVH or YHWH, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, is because the Jews would never speak that word. They would replace it with Adonai when they read it. That's why when you look in the two different creation narratives, right? You have, whenever you see capital G, small o, small d, that's Elohim, God. Whenever you see capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, or far fewer times capital G, capital O, capital D, that's the Tetragrammaton, YHWH or YHVH. Whenever you see capital L, small o, small r, small d, that's Adonai. Adonai gets translated as Kyrios, and so does the Tetragrammaton in Greek. That's in the Septuagint that the Jews made. And he goes on, also, the Da Vinci Code is fictional. It was never taken seriously. I'm sure Dan Brown would get a kick out of this. No wonder you only have 1,116 views. Last, you know nothing of Gnosticism. He's talking about Dr. Michael Heisler. As if you did, you would know Jesus was a Gnostic. Pick up a dictionary. Gnostic means esoteric knowledge or divine knowledge. You think Jesus didn't have this? Gnosis, okay, I'll go on to this. The word Gnostic means knowledge in Latin and is used for divine or esoteric knowledge. No. Gnosis is the Greek word for knowledge, and it just means knowledge of anything. Just knowledge. It's in the New Testament. Paul uses it. Was Jesus an elitist? Did Jesus believe in a good that the physical world was evil? That sex and childbirth were wrong? And that the good God, the monad, was entirely spiritual, and that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was the demiurge, either a stupid or evil God who was so stupid or so evil to create the physical world. No. Jesus reads from Isaiah. He talks about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He was not a Gnostic. Gnostic is an offshoot of Pauline, of a radical sect of Pauline Christianity, where you get the Ophites, the Sethians, the Basilidians, the Valentinians. Valentinus claimed to be the true follower of Pauline Christianity. the Nazarenes, which taught Jesus, were a Gnostic sect of Essenes who were a Gnostic sect of Jews. The Nazarenes were Judaizers. They were the opposite of Gnostics. They were like the Ebionites or the Alcazar. They were probably all the same thing. The Essenes were not Gnostic. The Essenes were a sect of Judaism. They had no Gnostic. They were not Gnostics. They were pre-Christian or contemporary, well, pre-Christian. I guess contemporary with Christianity, kind of. But after the temple gets destroyed, these scenes are wiped out. I responded, the word Gnosis is a Greek word for knowledge, and it was an epithet that the Catholics called various docetic groups. A one-sentence description of Gnosticism is a religion that differentiates the evil god of the world. This I actually just lifted wholeheartedly from earlychristianwritings.com that has all the Gnostic works on there. Michael Heisler is one of those who denies any factual history that shows that the Hebrew God came from combining at least two ancient gods, plural, the monotheistic God of the Hebrews, and who he is, as well as documented history of Babylon and Mesopotamia. Hebrew God, according to history, much earlier is Enia. No, it's, look at my videos on documentary hypothesis, J, P, E, and D, and then redactor. There's 4 different writers of the 5 books of Moses, and they were spliced together. Initially, El and Yahweh were 2 different views of the one God of Israel, very competing, actually trying to fight against each of these. The writers were, I mean, E was written, J was written to counter E, E and J were combined, and then P was written to counter EJ, and then D was written to counter P, which was trying to counter EJ. So no, again, you don't even know, Gnostic is not a word. It's Gnosis, and it's Greek. It's not Latin. The lesson that God is in all of us. So when you know yourself, you know God. That's not a Gnostic view. The Gnostics were elitists, and they had secret knowledge. Salvation wasn't for all; it was for the select few who had this secret knowledge, and that these were celibate, ascetic groups. They didn't believe we are gods. No. Michael Heisler gets this wrong. Again, read any of the Gnostic stuff. Do the 15 years of research of primary sources like I did. Study documentary hypothesis. But yeah, gets this all wrong. Again, there are actually people who they don't call themselves Gnostics. They identify as Basilidian, Valentinian, or they'd call themselves Christians and say Gnostics is an epithet that is a slander that the Catholics put on us. Not divine or esoteric knowledge, yeah, hidden knowledge that they had to keep from the masses because they weren't Catholic. Catholic was universal. That any man, woman, child, dude, rich, poor, could be saved by God. God loves all. Not the Gnostics. The Gnostics, you were saved through secret knowledge and through hatred of the material world. No childbirth, no sex, no. You would have androgynous relations with anybody or with everybody. You would escape from the world. So, Craxd1, you're getting your views of Gnosticism from, go to the primary sources, go to the scholars. Not even scholars, go to the primary sources. These two, I'll link 2 videos of mine in here about the truth about Gnosticism and Gnosticism versus Catholicism versus Marcionism. Peace to you.